Hey everyone, it is Jennifer Roberts here, and I am the Podqueen. So I'm outside, I'm in my house, it's awesome here, and so I want to talk today about what it is to be a dreamer. Now, my dog is like so into being on my show that she's just going to wander in and out, and we're just going to let it happen because it's real life, people. If you have a dog, get your dog, because Podqueen now has a show that dogs love. Brinks, come here. Come and say hi to everyone. This is my puppy. Say hi to all the people. Oh, such a good girl. Okay, awesome. So today I want to talk to people who have dreams. Now, I think of Joseph in Genesis 37. In Genesis 37, for like 10 chapters, is the story of Joseph. And I think the story is amazing. Now, we all know that Joseph started out with a dream, right? So he was unwise. He tells his brothers his dream. He gets mocked for having a dream. He was clearly his father's favorite. You know, his dad makes him special clothes and everything. So Joseph has a dream. And the dream is, it empowers him. It makes him excited. He tells everyone. And there was jealousy because of that. And there was difficulty because of that. So I want to address people that have dreams. You maybe have a pocket full of prophetic promises. The Lord has spoken something to you and you're holding on to it. And sometimes the journey is longer than we anticipate. I mean, think about in Joseph's case, he has a dream. He then is sold into slavery by his brothers. Not cool. No matter how much you hate your brother, do not sell them into slavery. No podgy. So he's sold into slavery. He ends up in another nation. And then he's there. It goes well for a while. And then what happens? He ends up in prison. What was going on in Joseph's mind when he's in prison? Like, was he thinking, God, was that real? Was that dream real? Did I make that up? Did he struggle with offense? Did he say, God, I don't understand your ways? How long am I going to have to wait for you to fulfill your promises? I think it would have been quite a journey for Joseph. And we see the purposes of God fulfilled in Joseph's life. That dream came to pass. It really happened. His brothers really did bow down to him. He really did become a major leader who helped deliver a nation. And so, but the process was long, and the process was hard, and the process refined him. Often we want to get out of those hard situations when we're contending for a promise, when we're contending for a dream, but that the very process often is the way in which God purifies us and counts us worthy of our calling to stand in the purposes that he has for us. Think about it. If Joseph had the dream and then the next day he's like leading everyone and his brothers are bowing down to him, I think he would have a little bit of arrogance. But when you get thrown in a pit and the echo of your own cry deafens your own voice, you're alone. You're in a pit. It's hard. Your only advocate is God when you're in that place. When you're, sold into slavery, my goodness. Now, most of us are never going to be sold into slavery. Joseph was. What was that like? How did he walk through that? But we know that Joseph held the line for his convictions. He stayed true. He stayed steady. And then here's what's really hard. Joseph was a righteous man. Potiphar's wife is pursuing him, and he won't give in to her seductive ways. Like, how easy would it have been for him to engage with her? No one would have known, but he knew that God saw. He knew that God was watching. He stayed steady in his convictions, and the very thing that he resisted, the very lust he resisted, the temptation he resisted, he then is falsely accused. Then he goes to prison and is called a rapist. I mean, I can't even imagine that. So if you're in that journey now where it feels like you are being trashed in the process, it feels like there is no circumstance that supports what you believe in. There's no idea, you have no idea how this promise or this dream is going to come to pass. I just want you to know it worked for Joseph because it was all about God. It was about him and his ability to fulfill a promise because he's the God that speaks and acts. He's not a man that he should lie. He does not make a promise and not fulfill it. So if you're a dreamer today, if you're one holding on to prophetic promises today, I want you to know the Lord sees and he's watching how you hold your heart. Don't give up. Don't quit. Stay steady. Take courage from Joseph's life. The journey may be long, but the promise will be fulfilled. That's what the Podqueen thinks.